What's going on, guys? It's MindShaz here, bringing you guys another Star Wars Battlefront 2 video. Now, today's video is another one of those speculation and hoping that we get this in the future type of video. Today we're going to be talking about what content from the 2015 release of Battlefront may return into Battlefront 2. Now, if you guys are unaware of what has happened in the recent days, progression's coming out tomorrow, and along with that, the announcement of BESPIN, the map from Battlefront 2015, I believe it is Administrator's Palace, is also coming back to Battlefront 2 as a Blast and Heroes vs. Villains map, which is awesome. I actually talked about this a few days ago, where they bring back some content and drip it in while we're waiting in the off-season, just like now. Now, it isn't something huge, of course, and it probably is a distraction. Excuse my stuttering there, I apologize. But it probably is a distraction to get us out to a solo season, which does kind of suck if you really do think about it, but I am going to be going over some content I believe that will eventually be added back to Battlefront 2, usually during the off-seasons is I think when they would add this, and I did make a video a few days ago, about a week ago, talking about this, so if you guys do want to check that out, make sure to go check it out right now, and then come back to this video, and I will talk about the content that I think they would add back. So, I think, first off, they would add back variants of maps. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, in the 2015 release, the base game had maps for Hoth, Endor, and eventually with DLC, they also added Jakku and Death Star. And of course, we have all four of those locations in Battlefront 2. These, of course, could be added as variants of maps, because obviously there was different maps in the first game than there was in this game. In my opinion, I think the Hoth maps, just the area of Hoth was overall better. I think some of the other maps were better too. But it just add some diversity to the map pool, so we aren't always playing the same thing over and over in either Blast or Strike or even Galactic Assault. Hopefully, down the road, Galactic Conquest be super duper cool. Of course, these can be added as variants, like I just said, and even they could probably make a throwback playlist of maps from Battlefront 2015, literally just Battlefront 2015 throwback playlist where you get old maps. And maybe eventually they can add in some old modes. I think it would be cool, but there are definitely a lot of other way cooler things that could be added to Battlefront 2 that did come from the first release. And of course, we're going to be transitioning into the maps being brought back. Now, I just kind of covered this with the different maps in like the same locations with Hoth and Endor being variants. But of course, like I said, Administrator's Palace, which is a BESPIN map from Battlefront 1, made by DICE, will be brought up to Battlefront 2, and of course there are a plethora of other maps that could be added from the first game. Of course, there's other maps from BESPIN that could be added as Galactic Assault or hopefully Conquest maps, and other Strike maps, different areas of the location of BESPIN that could be added as different Strike or Blast or even Heroes vs. Villains maps. Of course, there's also Scarif and Solus, and I mean, there's a ton of different maps that they had on those for the different game modes. Just like BESPIN, I think these will be added with major patch updates and not in actual seasons, standalone seasons. I do believe, just like BESPIN is being released alongside with this massive progression overhaul, I think that's what would happen with Scarif and Solus and possibly other BESPIN maps, depending on how the seasons work out. Moving on, there's of course also a few heroes and villains that could possibly be added. Of course, it will probably take a lot of time to balance them out with the other heroes and villains in the game now, so it may be somewhat of a hindrance to try and add these while they're also working on seasons. I do want them to focus on seasons, but they already have game models mostly made. Obviously, they have assets from the previous game, so they can take those, at least be done with that, and just try their best to balance them out. But some of the heroes we had in the 2015 game were pretty cool and would be nice to see in this game. Those are Greedo, Nia Nun, Dengar, Jyn Erso, and Orson Krennic. So there's only 5, which, I mean, they're alright. Personally, my favorite's probably Greedo and Nia Nun. Dengar's cool, but I think we got the better of the bounty hunters with Bosk, and hopefully down the road we can get more, like IG-88. And then Jyn and Orson, I think, would be awesome paired with a Scarif map being brought back as a whole Rogue One. Maybe not a season, but just some Rogue One content being brought back would be absolutely awesome, in my opinion. I think also they might eventually have a Rogue One season where they add different things. Instead of Jyn, they could add K2SO or Chirrut Imwe, any of those. And then there's, of course, a ton of different villains they could add back, along with Jedha instead of Scarif. So I definitely do want to see some more Rogue One content. I apologize, I just went off on a little bit of a tangent. So returning back to the regular topic I was just talking about, I think Dengar, Nien Nunb, and Greedo would also be cool, but I don't think they're all necessary. But you never know. And now there's a ton of other stuff that could be added, like the different game modes, like sabotage, extraction, customization skins that they had for the troopers, like the Twi'lek or Twi'lek, however you pronounce it. They had Rodians. Star cards that they had from the previous game also could be added back for troopers and things like that. But the last thing I'm going to be talking about are, of course, blasters. Now, currently in Battlefront 2, there are only 16 blasters. Now, I'm not counting the default ones. There are multiple models for default blasters, but they all perform the same and don't change gameplay-wise. They just change the physical look. They don't actually change the performance. But we do definitely need some more diversity in multiplayer. For example, the CA-87 Shock Blaster would be awesome to see back in Battlefront 2, and it could even be paired with a new class. Since the CA-87 was like a shotgun in that game, I think it'd be super cool to see more of a run-and-gun type of character. I mean, we got Assault, which is pretty much medium range. We have Heavy, which is pretty much just the tanky guy. The Officer could be more of a run-and-gun, but I think he still just should be more of a team player as he is an officer. And then, of course, we have Specialists, which is, of course, the long-range type of players with snipers and things like that. So maybe there eventually could be a new class, and one of the blasters that they would have is the CA-87 Shock Blaster. I do believe, while Dice Firewall was answering questions, he even teased bringing it back. Whether or not that's actually going to happen, I don't know. Again, it was just a tweet from a random developer of DICE. Not really random, because we do really love him in this community. Other things like the K16 Briar Pistol and the T21 Heavy Blaster all have a place in this current game, I believe, and they definitely should be added back, in my opinion. It would be super nice to have a little bit more diversity with the blasters. The troopers are kind of getting boring, as there are dominant ones, of course. For Assault, you have a little bit of flexibility with what you want to use, but Heavy, I mean, come on. If you're not using the DC-15 LE with Exploding Shot, what are you really doing? Same with Officer. I mean, it's kind of like the Blurg and the SE-44C. I mean, I see it like maybe once every week, maybe once a week, maybe once every 15 games, I'll see someone running around with an S5, and I don't even know the default ones. I don't even remember the default Officer blasters except for like the DC-17 maybe. Finally, for the Specialist, no, I've seen a few. I mean, you got the A280 CFE and the IQ-A11, and the last one, which is like the NT242. So those are pretty alright. The beginning blaster for the Specialist is pretty whack. But, yeah, so that's basically all I think will be added back from 2015. Whether or not they add all of the stuff, I mean, as time will tell. I don't think that will happen. For example, the variants of the maps, I don't actually think will happen. I think Scarif and more Bespin stuff and Solist even possibly could be added for sure. Along with the heroes and villains, I do believe that they might add some of those back. And blasters, I mean, come on, they have to come back. With seasons coming up, and we just need, okay, simple as it, we just need new blasters. Okay, DICE, I know you're not watching this, but we need new blasters. I'm tired of getting gunned down by DC-15 LE Exploding Shot, or Blurg, or anything. Okay, I just want to see a new gun title, new gun name that's killing me, alright? Simple as that. Now, to wrap this video up, I do want to thank you guys all for the recent support. It has been absolutely insane. I haven't been gaining like thousands of subs or anything, but just the subs I've been getting lately is super awesome to see. It's super awesome that I'm finally making some solid quality content on Battlefront 2. I love making these speculative videos and discussion videos and talking to you guys in the comments about what's to come. I believe with these future updates, for example, tomorrow, depending on when you guys are watching this, we have Bespin, new progression. In April, we have customization. I think this game has a bright future. Of course, I talked about that in my last video, the game having a bright future. But I definitely think this game could definitely still come back. I think they can revive it. I think this game will start to do pretty good because now they have a lot more time to focus on seasons and whatnot. And I know I'm just babbling on. I apologize. But I seriously do want to thank you guys so much for the support. It's so great to finally be making some decent stuff that's getting a little bit of traction in the Battlefront 2 community. I love this game. I love you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, definitely drop a like. If you guys are new, make sure to subscribe. I love you guys so much. It's been your boy, MindShaz. Have an amazing day, everybody, and peace out.